there was a moment in time for me that I knew after I had already been through the foundational rehab, when I was already building up my strength and trying to get back to running and feeling normal again. It was after that is when I knew sports physical therapy was something I wanted to really dive into, and stayed true to that path even through undergrad. I got exposed to other cool fields, right? I really thought that maybe I revisited athletic training again. But physical therapy just was a passion. And when I got exposed to being able to specialize in it, done deal.
What's up, Savage Boss Babes and Dudes? It's Diana inside the Savage Studio. This episode brought to you by Savage Coffee, located inside the Boeing Center at Techport. And today I have Dr. Danielle from Sport Rehab, who is, if you didn't know, now you do know, in the business of building better athletes.
Ooh, that was so good. I love it. Yes, that is. I think we're done.
Yes.
Let's just stop it there. Yes, I am in the business of building better athletes. That's awesome. I love it. Thanks for the intro.
I'm so glad that you accepted the invitation to be here.
Girl, I've been trying to get on the show. I was like, I want to get on the Savage Boss podcast. I love it.
Thank you for being patient with us.
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Love to be here. Glad to be here.
You've known about the Savage. You've been on the Savage journey with us since
Yeah.
Day one, maybe.
Right?
I mean, since we were in the trailer.
Yeah, in the trailer.
Yeah.
My best friend, Corinne, she was like, hey, you got to try this coffee. And I was like, I'm not really a coffee drinker. Changed my life. I'm not even kidding. I only drink your coffee. No offense. I love other coffees.
Mic drop right
exactly.
there.
We're done. I tried it, loved it, and I've been with you guys, right? You guys travel around the world. I'm going with you pretty much.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's what Savage does to you.
Exactly. No, seriously, it's great coffee. I love it. And I'm excited to be here, clearly.
Well, I really appreciate your support, and you're always showing your support and your love via social media, showing up with us, and going and visiting us. And now we have the opportunity to really get to know each other.
I know, not that we didn't earlier.
Yes, I mean, let's take it back to the beginning. So
Cool.
Originally born and raised here in Texas.
In Texas, specifically by down in the valley. I'm a valley girl.
Okay.
By South Padre. Shout out to Harlingen.
Harlingen.
That's where I was born and raised. And I lived in a few border towns, mostly because of my dad's job. He was with the government, and so was there. I was in Laredo throughout grade school, and then we moved out to South Padre for a while, and then settled in Harlingen, and finished high school, and then continued with my basketball career. Went to junior college in Dallas, and then finished in San Antonio. So once I graduated San Antonio, I stayed put.
So I mean, like I said, this is gonna allow us to really get to know each other in depth, right? But
yes.
Without me knowing yet, I don't know. You just come off to me as like the real sporty one in school, doing all the sports. Like one season you'd be doing one thing, and then the next season you'd be doing the next sport, and you're the one that's always walking around with your gym bag. And am I kind of
is
on
it
the right
hair?
route?
Is it the hair? I feel like the hair gave it away.
No.
No, honestly, it really is. I have my bag in my Jeep. I keep my equipment meaning just like I dress sporty because I love being active. And yes, we can go back to childhood if we wanted to. I was involved in any and all sports. I don't know if it was because my parents were like, get that energy out and do all the sports. And then I just loved it. I never stopped. So I continued on in high school. I was an all-around athlete. I was running cross country, playing basketball. I tried my hand at volleyball. It wasn't like the best, but I loved playing it. I was decent, but my heart was truly in basketball. And then I saw it through softball and then also track. So very active and very much dedicated to the books, not because I was some walking genius, but because I needed to study or else I wasn't going to get the grades I needed. And very driven in terms of wanting to really accomplish as much as I could in the sport world and then also academically. So
your parents played a big role in you developing this love for all things sporty?
They did. My dad was really heavily in that. My mom was very much into performing arts, very
Really?
much dance, ballet.
Did you do any of those things?
Girl, no. I tried. I mean, I've told this story to some of my near and dearest friends. I'm going to share it with you.
Okay.
My love for basketball came from my dad. I watched him play forever. He'll tell you that he wasn't some big basketball star, but he loved playing sports. And I found my love for sports through him. And my mom was just super supportive. But she was also very talented in dance, tap, jazz. And I just didn't get exposed to that because I just really love sports. And so here comes high school. My mom, or not even middle school, my mom's like, maybe you should try cheerleading. And I said, I don't know. My best friend at the time was, I'll just try it. And my inner competitor turned on and I was like, I'm not going to try out and not make it. So immediately turned on the peppiness and I don't really talk low. And I just naturally had a loud and very, I wouldn't say dominant presentation, but somewhat of that.
Okay.
And made the squad. And my mom was just besides herself. And I had every bow, every colored shoe. Girl, I was a cheerleader. 8th grade. And I said, Mom, that's it. I love you. I'm not doing it anymore.
I did it, done that.
Yeah,
done.
you can't say I don't love you. I did what I could. And then here comes freshman year. My mom's all, you got one more year in you. And I said, no, Mom, basketball's it. I'm gonna, I'm shooting for varsity. She's like, you can do it. And at the time, I wanted this go-kart. Very long-winded story, but I got to tell you it, okay?
Okay.
Go-kart, wanted it. And she's all, if you make the team, if you make the squad, you're going to get the go-kart. We went to go pick it out. Lime
Mom
green.
knew how to get things
Yes.
done. That's how you do it. You bribe your kids. You
And
tell
it
them.
worked. And I said, done. Gosh, there's so many other things I could tell you, but long story short, as much as I can, I made the squad. I was all, yes, girl, we're going. Oh, I wasn't even excited that I made it. I was more excited that I was going to get my go-kart. I was a freshman. I didn't want a car. I wanted a go-kart.
Were you driving up to practice in the go-kart or what?
No, girl. Let me tell you. So made it. My mom was crying. I was like, Mom, let's get the go-kart. And she's like, yeah, we'll go get it. But let's get you whatever. Fast forward. I didn't get the go-kart.
What?
Girl, my parents got me a car. And this ungrateful, spoiled child was like, where's the go-kart? I wasn't happy with the car. I wanted a go-kart,
Oh my
girl.
gosh.
Yeah, I was, my mom was like, girl, you're not going to touch that car. You better be grateful you have a vehicle. Anyway, I mean, jokes aside, I was super grateful for the vehicle, but they gave me a starter vehicle, so to speak, meaning they got me a Pontiac Grand Dam GT. It was an older one that went way too fast for me. I had no business in that fast vehicle. Anyways, my parents were very supportive, obviously. Made the squad. I was a terrible cheerleader, but very, very loud. So people just used me to get the cheer across.
Okay.
Yeah, but my jumps and just my overall demeanor as a cheerleader was not very good.
It was just not there.
But, made the squad. And I think they just needed someone to assist with bass. I was a bass. I was not doing anything else but that. So anyways, I was an all-around athlete. I did try my hand at performing arts, and I can say I did. And then that was it. I was blessed enough and put the work in to make varsity, and saw that through my 4 years of high school in several sports. And so cheerleading just wasn't in the books for me.
So at this time, what are you thinking about? I mean, you're so involved in sports and you have all the support of your family, but what are you thinking in the future? Were you thinking of something related to sports? Like, oh, I'm going to make it, I don't know, to the WNBA or something.
I mean, in
I don't
theory,
know.
I was fixed on going to the league, and
Really?
back in the day, right? Yeah, back in the day, it wasn't as highly sought after, right? I mean, we're talking about women's sports. I'd be the first to say that we're still trying to find our way to kind of get to a level where it's more recognized and really appreciated, and our talent is growing on the women's side, and now it's a little bit more on a level playing field. Still have room to grow. So at the time, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make it. And then as I made it to the college level, I said, okay, I need to be more realistic. I'm not going to go anywhere far in terms of the league. And so then I shifted my focus and really dove into my academics. And I still had this dream, although, how I got passionate about where I'm at today. Very, very typical story. I got injured my senior year, tore the ACL, and learned very quickly that, I can't put all my eggs in one basket, and really developed a passion for helping, being more of a healer kind of deal, and fell in love with the idea that I can still be a part of sports in a different capacity.
So take us to that situation.
That moment in time, it was so traumatic.
Life altering.
Right.
Moment.
Girl, at the moment I was, there's no way I'm going to see the other end of things.
Yeah.
And then, let's dive into it really quick. It was our last game of the year. It was my senior year, and we had already lined up a few potential offers for as far as signing goes with some D2 colleges. As much as I thought I was D1 material, girl, very much D2, and nothing wrong with that. D2, D3, just going on to play at the collegiate level is a blessing. And so night of the night before of the signing, if you will, I'm by myself in the middle of the court, and I deflect a ball, and I do it by myself. I'm about to jump up to deflect the pass, and in the act of jumping up, my knee felt horrible. Like there was a knife being driven directly into my knee, and I didn't understand what happened, but I still attempted to jump. And in the act of coming down, my knee just gave out in every which way you can think of. And it was just unrelenting pain. I mean, man, it was years ago. Back, I'm 36 years young. This was back in high school. I was 17 at the time, so years ago, and I can still feel how ugly it was to tear your ACL, and it was just one of those things you don't forget, right? So I mean, I had my high school career was amazing. I had such we had great athletic trainers. Mama Doc was there. And I mean, it was just something that you don't forget. And, in hindsight, you wish you knew what you knew now back then, and you don't. But it was just a traumatic event, and I thought everything was over. And once again, with the support system that I had, my parents were amazing. Anything I needed. I can't forget about my brothers. My little brother was my little social media guy. Not little, he's taller than me. My social media guy. My older brother was there to support it as well. And I mean, he still remembers the footage also of when it happened. So tore the ACL and everything with it. I tried playing without my ACL and thought it was possible. It's very much challenging. You can't. And there were so many things that came of it. And it was the impact of my athletic trainer, where I thought I was going to go athletic training route, but their hours are too crazy. Mad respect for athletic trainers. I just didn't want to go that route. Then I got exposed to a physical therapist, and gosh, they were great. I got myself back to where I was, started on a practice squad, built my way back up, made a junior college team, and then found my way at UIW. They offered me the opportunity to play both. They offered both athletic and academic, and finished there. But that night was something that, changed. It really did change my life in terms of such a drastic injury, and a lot of it's career or season ending. Even back in the day to now, it's still very much career ending. And getting the privilege of working with athletes that undergo these type of injuries is something that, I do think it's kind of a reason why I got, or why I experienced that injury, because I get athletes that, this is kind of why sports psychology has really grown, because it is traumatic. It is something like I put my eggs in the basket that I thought I was going to go big time. And even though it may have been far-fetched, I still had the support system making me believe, not making me, but giving me the tools to allow me to at least attempt my hand at playing, that maybe not in the league, but maybe trying my hand at overseas, or at least seeing myself through a career recreationally beyond college. Who knows, right? But in the route I was put on, maybe that was the reason I got that injury, because I have so many people that not only trust me, but understand that I've been there. So it's still really, do I wish I didn't have that injury? Yeah, because it was pretty painful. I don't sugarcoat it. yeah, it sucks. And yes, the rehab is going to be boring, but know that there's a light at the end of the tunnel because I've been there. So
You've mentioned on social media that during that rehabilitation process was when you got that feeling, or that feeling of wanting to help other people who are put in your situation.
Sure.
What was it about that experience that made you lean towards, physical therapy and rehabilitation and athlete and
all that stuff.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
All the athlete stuff. Gosh, I mean, I think it, outside of that experience as a whole, I think that maybe like a turning point for me, knowing that physical therapy is the route I want to go, is not even during the rehab experience, so to speak. It was when I started feeling myself again, and knowing that I honestly didn't think I was going to feel myself after that surgery. I mean, my surgeon was very, very black and white and said, you blew your ACL, your season's over. Let's plan your surgery. Literally like that. I don't even think I got his name. I know the doctor's name. He's retired and, he's no longer practicing, but the bedside manner could use some work. And my point being is it was that journey, that entire process opened my eyes to really wanting to get into that sports medicine field.
Okay.
And it was solidified when I finally started realizing I can get back to my original playing level. A lot of doctors like to use, you won't get back to 100%. And a lot of it's just covering their butt, because you did in fact undergo a surgery, and a surgery is a surgery, meaning you've been exposed to a foreign object. They had to readjust the structures that are no longer sound to what your body used to be like. So you get told this. And in the moment where I realized, you know what, I can get back to it with a team, with an athletic trainer, with my physical therapist, with the support of my family, there was a moment in time, and I couldn't tell you exactly when, but there was a moment way back then, back in high school, that I knew physical therapy was something I wanted to do. And not just your foundational generalized approach, but very specific to the athlete that endures the injury and understands that it's going to be a journey, and understands that you're going to have, pitfalls. It's not all going to be hunky-dory with rainbows and butterflies. There was a moment in time for me that I knew, after I had already been through the foundational rehab, when I was already building up my strength and trying to get back to running and feeling normal again. It was after that is when I knew sports physical therapy was something I wanted to really dive into, and stayed true to that path even through undergrad. I got exposed to other cool fields, right? I really thought that maybe I revisited athletic training again. But physical therapy just was a passion. And when I got exposed to being able to specialize in it, done deal.
You mentioned this doctor who's very black and white on his approach. But in your journey, did you encounter anybody who was the opposite, who might have inspired and you might have felt like, oh, that's something, that's something that I would want to do.
Right.
And I would like to be able to give that same treatment or that same, to other people who are injured.
Man, I've had a lot of great mentors and not so great mentors. And I don't even want to say not so great, because they were still great in their own way. And to be honest, like, of what not to do. Right. So I still learned something from them, even though it was a hard lesson. So the list really goes, there's a pretty lengthy list of the exposure of people, because I looked at it in a positive way. Even though they weren't the best, like, even though this doctor that I got exposed to, his bedside manner wasn't fantastic, but I appreciated the black and whiteness of it. I don't want it to be sugar coated, but at the same time, he could have at least said, hey, I'm sorry, or at least showed a little bit of not even empathy, but sympathy.
Exactly.
Or
maybe a little bit of both.
Yeah, could maybe. And, I was thinking
50-50,
right? And so I was thinking, it was so impactful that even though I didn't appreciate the black and whiteness all the way, I did appreciate that he was very blunt and said, this is X, Y, and Z. You need to have surgery. Instead of giving me a false hope that I can in fact practice with, or I can play at the level I want to play without my ACL.
Hey, we're going to cut you up, stitch you up, and you're going to be ready to go.
Exactly. And I appreciated that, right?
Yeah.
He didn't, and so that was someone that really played an impact. There was a lot of people that really allowed me to develop my own understanding of what I truly wanted to do. So there wasn't really one person. There was a lot of people that I took a lot of pieces from that really helped me become thick-skinned, empathetic, sympathetic, and develop my own way of practicing and knowing that I can be pretty adaptable, and I pride myself in that. I could be fairly bubbly, but then it just gets exhausting. I could be pretty monotone, but then I'm just bored. But I pride myself in allowing myself to be contour or adaptable, but only because I guess of where I came from. It's one of those things, like I just took a lot of good from, I took bits and pieces from a lot of different people and then created Dr. D kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I really couldn't give you one person, but a lot of people made a big impact on my life, like starting from childhood, seeing it through. I mean, it's really quick. I had a coach when I was in pre-K all the way through 5th grade, and he still sends a Christmas card to me because he made that much of an impact on my passion for basketball. And then, you know, I had 2 great athletic trainers in high school all throughout 4 years that made an impact on me, and it really opened my eyes to the athletic trainer world and respect them for more than just, some people are like, oh, athletic trainers are just there to give water. Or if anyone ever says that, I'd punch them in the arm. But I mean, nowadays people understand the impact that athletic trainers have. I just want to be able to work alongside them. And then in college, I had a great basketball coach. I had great people that I worked alongside. The list goes on and on. But in that realm, I got exposed to people that I could have, you know, if I would have jumped over them, I would have been happy. Yeah. But I took a lot of what I didn't want to portray onto other people. And so I carry that on to future PTs, future sports performance therapists. Like, those are things that I make sure to be as adaptable as I can to them, because I had so many great people in my life, in my circle kind of thing.
So you decide to do this for a living. You decide that this is going to be what you're going to create a business out of.
Right.
How do you start putting together the pieces of what you want and what you don't want?
Gosh,
based on your experiences.
Sure. Yeah. You know, I'm still learning a lot, but one thing that I knew I wanted to build around was the athlete, and not so much a professional athlete, but I kind of put it all together based on, you know, the need that I was exposed to from the traditional setting of the clinic, and then also the need that I wish I had back in the day. I wish I had a sports performance therapist that could provide the rehab that I needed, because when you're a high level athlete, and this can start in high school, this can start in middle school, this can start in grade school. I've been exposed to some athletes at the grade school level that are surpassing the talents of the rest of their age range and then some. And so my point is that you want to have someone that understands that they're at a higher level, but they also are going to need the treatment that incorporates, that it's all encompassing, where I am going to make sure that we're catering to a little ache and pain, but we are going to include the high performance side of things. So it's built around the person that wants to elevate their performance, not just athletes, but those, you know, I'm in the weekend warrior range, those weekend warriors that are trying to find the footing correctly, not trying just to, hey, I'm ready to go to the gym, I'm just going to go 100%. I want to be that resource. My reaction wants to be that resource to help develop a program for injury prevention. But we also have the capability and the knowledge and the tools to create a high level performance program for an elite athlete that is trying to get, you know, said Olympics or be able to perform at the professional level and stay at that high level, right? Because one thing that I believe in, it's not about being great in your sport. It's about being able to be great and last in your sport.
Exactly.
Longevity. And I think Reaction has really done a good job of developing a clinic, a space where you're going to have these resources to be able to last in your sport. And that's where the whole motto came from, build better athletes, We don't just want to get you there. We want to allow you to last in what you love doing.
I'm glad that you brought that up because I had never heard of or even thought of, when you go into a sport, usually at like grade school level or middle school or whatever, high school or whatever, you think of, oh, okay, yeah, I want to go play basketball or volleyball or whatever, right? I'm going to go to the practices. I'm going to, do what they teach me there and everything. But I had never thought of, oh, well, you need to prepare your body for for what it's going to go through, because it's a whole process, and it can be very hard on your body when you're not used to doing the kind of movements that you're being taught and stuff like that. So I had never thought about, an athlete's body needs to be prepared to be able to be an athlete and stay an athlete.
Right. Yeah. And that's kind of why we're doing a lot of community outreach, because people were thinking, what? You're here to help us not get injured?
Yeah.
I thought we normally go to physical therapists when they're injured. And, that's kind of the shtick that we have.
Yeah.
You hurt something, then you come see us. And I'm trying to kind of, and not just me, there's a lot of us out there that are trying to, rework or remold what a lot of the commonalities are. And you said it perfectly. You want to be prepared, and the way you are successful is through preparedness. Excuse me. And so that's what we like to offer. We don't want to see you when you're injured. If we get to see you when you're feeling good, imagine how much better the programming would be for you, because we don't have to, start from not necessarily the bottom, but start from a rehab standpoint and then bridge into performance. If we can get you where we're already focusing on performance, we have an initial performance evaluation where we can look at symmetries between your body and be able to address muscular imbalances that may not be identified if we were only focusing on a rehab standpoint. When it comes to a rehab standpoint, we can still look at that, don't get me wrong, but we want to be more focused on getting that soul, that limb, if you will, working better and up to speed kind of deal. But we're still coming from a holistic approach. But we won't get that privilege of performing at a higher level until we get your body to a said baseline where your body is functioning normally. There aren't any aches and pains. You have good movement patterns. Those are things that we can do from a rehab standpoint. And then if we get to see you when you don't have any type of ailments or anything, which most of us present with naturally, but we don't know. And normally we wait until something starts aching when we're like, oh, maybe I did have something going on and it never really gave you any issues. What we're trying to do is say, don't wait till you have those issues. Let's build a good foundation and then keep you going, so I don't have to necessarily see you when you have an ache or a pain. We get to nip it in the bud at the beginning, kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. And we've talked a lot about athletes, but
Sure.
You also see other types of patients too.
Sure. Yeah. We can see a variety of athletes. I use athletes so much, but my version of athlete, if you will, and it's not per definition. You don't need to be competing on a team or to where you're going to win something. An athlete can be used in a way that you're trying to better yourself in just that light. Like you're trying to be a better version of yourself, and that's competing with yourself ultimately, right? In an athletic state, you're trying to compete to accomplish something. So, you can use athlete / weekend warrior / fitness enthusiast. We see all types of people. I mean, I've worked with individuals, patients that are 76 years young, trying to, be able to walk 4 miles without said knee pain. We can help with that. We have the tools, we have the resources. We want to be able to keep you going. And if walking is what you want to get better at, let us help you with that.
Yeah.
We can help with that rehab standpoint.
What are the most valuable lessons you've learned from your experiences and through your clients?
Ooh, man, this was a business growth little nugget. I couldn't think of the word that I learned. And this was right when I was transitioning from a traditional based clinic to a more, what I'm in right now, a cash based clinic, or what I'm in. And one of the things that she had said was, if it doesn't scare you, then you're not going to grow. Mm-hmm. And let me tell you what, I was real scared, going into business on my own was something that I wasn't necessarily going to go into. We had talked earlier that I was going to pursue business, go into business with a partner, and things didn't work out the way we had wanted. And then push come to shove, I was already a foot out the door, and I had support from my clinic director at the time. Hey, I'd love to keep you here. However, you got to decide which route you're going to go, and kind of gave me that push I needed. Some opportunities fell through the cracks, and push come to shove, I got to go head on, and decided to take it on. And it was one of the best decisions I've ever made. And that was something I learned from one of my patients, and I kind of stuck to it. And something I learned back in high school, again, I had some great people in my life. And one thing that I learned from my cross country coach, and I don't even know if she remembers telling me this, you never want to settle. You always want to push for more. And the two words have never left my mind. Don't settle for something when you can, basically never settle. And it doesn't mean that, you can't find yourself happy with where you're at, right? Enjoy the journey. But I truly believe that I can accomplish more, and I keep pushing for more. And I wear it around my necklace, never settle for anything less than what you truly feel that you can accomplish. And then this in the same breath, if it doesn't scare you, what are you doing, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So those are two of the biggest things that I've learned. There's a few other things, but those are kind of the biggest ones that have stuck with me for a really long time.
If you could go back in time right now to that day of, and not necessarily think about the
sure.
pain that you lived,
right.
But
let's relive it again.
But just to that day where, I'm sure there was so many thoughts going through your mind, of how things were over. It's over for me. This is it. Mm-hmm. All my plans are ruined.
Yep.
What would you tell yourself?
Like right now in that moment?
Yeah.
It's going to get better. Oh, man. At that moment, I can't tell. Literally what you're saying, and I'm sure I said that. At that moment, I just couldn't see beyond the next minute. I couldn't see beyond the next hour. Mm-hmm. It was just in my mind, I thought everything was stripped from me. It's very dramatic now, and I know that. Yeah. But then in that moment where I was at in life, I was a 17-year-old girl thinking that the next step for me was college basketball, and I wasn't going to get it. And so, that would be the first thing. Like, it's going to get better. I couldn't take it back, right? Like, it already happened. If I could change things, I don't know if I would change it. The pain, I definitely would. I don't forget that pain. I could do without the pain for sure. But I don't know if I would be in the position I'm in right now. I don't know if I would have been as passionate about physical therapy as I am now. Like, I think it would, you don't know what you don't know, but just kind of reflecting on it right now, I think things would look a little different. I don't think I'd be as passionate and wholeheartedly invested in the space that I'm in, right? I don't think I would have that passion, that drive to really give my all to not just athletes, but to those that are trying to better themselves just in the space of having a better lifestyle. I don't think I would be as good as a resource as I am now if I didn't experience that one event.
Hands-on experience.
Yeah, exactly. Like hands-on in it. I think it would be completely different. And so am I grateful for it? Now I can say that. But I wasn't
Back
there.
Then,
I gotta be honest, girl. I could do without the injury.
How does it make you feel to hear your clients' testimonials when they talk about you, about the experience of your business, of the care that you give them?
It's kind of emotional a little bit. I think it's like the estrogen in me. Man, one thing I really learned is like allow yourself to feel the emotion. So I'm better at that, but it's such a good question. It's great. Mm-hmm. It's one of those feelings where I just let it sit for a minute. Like I'm taken aback, that people who really aren't comfortable with being in front of the camera. I'll tell you what, although I really am a people person, it took me a lot to be comfortable in front of the camera and let myself be vulnerable in front of people, and to know that they agree to that and want to express their opinion to others, strangers. that is an ultimate high compliment. And then like just the fact that they're willing to already speaks volumes to me. And then when I go back, I'm not even in the room when they're doing the testimony. I'm blessed with a great team, Kelsey and Nat. Nat's my social media manager. She has really built a great brand for us. She asks the questions, so I get the privilege of seeing it with everybody else. It's another feeling. I don't take it for granted. It's amazing that people think so highly of like poor little old me, and I'm just making sure I put my best foot forward for them. It's an investment working with us, but it's not short of us making sure, I say us because it's myself and Dr. Kelsey Eid. We want to make sure that you're getting the care that we know that you deserve and that we know that we can provide. And it's not short of anything best. It's not short of knowing that it's the best here in San Antonio. You know, we have other great clinics out there, but it's a great feeling. It's amazing to know that people think what they think about us and are willing to share. It's something that I literally love. I like the very first one I can't forget, and every review, it reminds you, because everyone's quick to complain, and I can sit here and say that, you know, I'm in a position where people are very, very honest, and I want them to be, because as much as an investment from a monetary standpoint, their time is just as valuable. And not only are they investing, you know, the monetary standpoint, they are investing their time and then their trust. And then all of that is to be said, they're also allowing people to hear what they truly think about me. Like not about me, about reaction, and about, you know, my partner, my coworker, my teammate, Dr. Kelsey Eid. A very long-winded response, truly grateful. It's something that I don't take for granted, and it's awesome.
And I know that from your social media and just from talking to you, you're very big on being involved in the community
100%.
and supporting other small businesses, doing events, you know, to be able to spread the knowledge, your knowledge with people. Is there any upcoming events, you know, that we can expect to see you at? Where
a really big one that we're having, and it's not so much from an educational standpoint. We try and get involved as much as we can in different gyms, local CrossFit gyms that have accepted us and allowed us to share the knowledge. You know, we do monthly clinics now at War Dog CrossFit. It's a great CrossFit gym, great community. So we're out there. It's open to the public. We are gearing on getting another one up coming October, and an easy way to find out if we're having a clinic. We post on our social media often. 925 is another great CrossFit style type gym that we host clinics there, and it's free to the public also. And we encourage you guys to get out there. Another great gym that is partnered with us is Bear Box CrossFit, and we do them monthly. So we post that on our social media as far as 2 weeks in advance. So if you hop on there, you can figure out or learn where we're going to be. And then another big event that we're hosting is coming up in February. It's in promotion for first responders, specifically firefighters. We host what is called the Fire Rescue Throwdown. That's happening February 4th of next year. And it's a CrossFit style competition, and it's a 4-person team, and it's a very niche specific competition, and it's a great way for civilians to get involved to what firefighters are doing on a daily basis. And it's our way. We work with tactical athletes. It's our way of getting them, promoting firefighters in terms of what they do, and again allowing the civilians to be a part of it. And it's a 2-man 2-woman team, 4-person team with 2 males 2 females. They do not need to be firefighters. The way that we incorporate fire elements is in the competition. So that is another way that we get involved with the community and really allow people to see what firefighters get to do. It's going to be in Harlingen, my hometown. Speaking of giving back to my community, nice. We're going to host it out there. And we're already, guns hot kind of thing. We've already gotten vendors to sign up down there. It's going to be a very local event. We're trying to get some San Antonio vendors to get down there and really just promote what's happening in the Harlingen community, bring a lot more promotion to, the valley itself, right? South Padre Island's out there. Harlingen's another city. There's a lot you can do in Harlingen, a lot of markets and stuff that you can go be a part of. There's a lot of small businesses down there that I'm trying to get in partner with. So overall, social media is an easy way to see what we're doing. We do our very best. Shout out to Nat. promote as early as we can. And you can tune in there and really see what we're getting involved in.
Dr. D, thank you so much.
Oh, thanks for having me. It means the world, and I'm excited to be a part of this.
I truly appreciate you stopping by and sharing your story with us and giving us insight to what it is that's going on over there at Reaction.
Yeah, thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
How do we connect with you on social media?
Easiest way is through the handle is reaction_sport rehab. I'm sure you can provide the link. That's an easy way to get a hold of us. And that's the same thing for Facebook. And same thing for our website is reaction sportsrehab.com. So if you type in those words somewhere, you should be able to find us.
Nice.
So
Thank you. Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for listening and for tuning in. This episode was brought to you by Savage Coffee, located inside the Boeing Center at Techport. Yeah. That was good.
It was awesome. I felt like, oh yeah, 100%. We're all love this stuff. It's so fun. Thanks for letting me come hang out.
Thank you.
I'm excited. So how do I see it?